Do you have fears? Do you have anxieties? Today I want to encourage you. When I was 8 years old, that was shortly before I started to read about philosophies and religions, I figured what my life goal, my motivation for living or simply being is. I will go into detail about that in one of my future ChillTalk episodes. For now, I will simplify it. From the bottom of my heart, I truly want to help people to become aware of who or what they are and can be, aware of who or what others are and can be. I want you to understand our species, our genetical program, and what derives from it, namely our innate predispositions, our postpartum susceptibilities, our social conditioning, our flaws, our strengths, our limits, our capabilities to go beyond our perceived limits, our capacity to learn also from mistakes, failures, and harm. I want you to know our differences, but also our commonalities, and what we may infer out of all that. I'm not claiming that it is possible to give you a holistic, a complete view of everything there is. It's impossible. I also don't know how many videos I will create about it, who knows. I wish that I would be at least the spark for you, the beginning where you start looking for certain answers and solutions. I want you to approach your anxieties, to understand them better and not be ashamed of them anymore, not be angry or depressed about them, not hide them out of fear to be ostracized, to be labeled, disrespected or not taken seriously. Some mental conditions are treatable, and even better news, some conditions can be just a temporary phase for many, not lifelong diagnosis. So don't fear to approach your fears or anxieties. Fear is a very useful thing, if it's rational. Primeval animals, and of course also early humans, who were quick to catch on dangerous situations, who feared, were more likely to survive and thus to possibly reproduce. You can very well say that fear helped with natural selection. That's probably why it has been preserved throughout evolution, because it's overall quite useful to have. If fear is irrational though, it turns into anxiety. We have to differentiate between those two. And seen from a strictly personal level, all of this wouldn't be such a huge problem usually for anyone affected by anxieties if whole mankind could always be reasonable. But we can't. To make matters worse, what happened in the past is that we are, metaphorically speaking, lulled into some sort of sleep, passiveness, ignorance, and carelessness. Life seems to become more and more stressful, more and more demanding, and many feel, at least subconsciously and at least temporarily, detached, confused, or lost. Many of us developed a decreased perception of some of our very own innate instincts. Some of us are numb in some sense. All of these are reasons why some of us are the perfect prey. There are some people out there with a predator mentality who know that. They often are all about instinct. They often got a natural sense to detect people who can be prey, and in some cases they even acquire more or less profound knowledge about human psychology to optimize their strategies. They know what makes us humans tick. They know your innate fears, they can detect your acquired anxieties and predispositions as well as developed conditions which they regard as weakness. They can figure out what you like and what you don't like. And they abuse your psychological profile, your weaknesses and everything for their egoistical purposes. Playing puppet master, playing with people's sanity, sometimes scarring them for life, causing traumata. But this is not about separating the world into a them against us. That's exactly what they want. A division, a separation, mob mentality. The villager mob with torches and pitchforks against Frankenstein's monster. I didn't mention it to create more fear, confusion, negative energies in any way. very much the opposite. But it would be, from my view, criminal to try to beautify the things as they are. You know, it is bad enough that we are already in many ways pre-programmed and conditioned. And it's not easy to break out of genetical programming or social conditioning. And it's also not easy to detect whenever we get not positively influenced, but maliciously or even malignantly manipulated. But the good news is it's also not completely impossible in some areas, and with some knowledge and instinct to detect it. You, not all, but most of you who are listening to this video are privileged in comparison to so many other people in this world who don't have the luxury to think about the nature of humanity and who don't have the luxury to be able to change their lives to the extent that we in our civilization, in our culture, can theoretically. For the sake of everyone, it is up to us to make a change. Don't think that, somebody else will do it, I don't have to. Nearly everyone thinks like that, which means in the end, no one does it. But if you are willing, you have to realize it always starts with you, yourself. To know yourself and others is not only a possible way to what I call true happiness, acceptance of yourselves as well as others, but it's also the best defense method there is. If someone of whom you figured they got a hidden agenda, an ulterior motive, they are not good people, if such a person lays their finger into what they and maybe also you perceive as a weakness, or maybe even a psychological wound, if they poke into that, it will not hurt you, or at least not as much. Knowledge is power. You shouldn't feel weaker if someone tries to hurt you. Quite the opposite. By doing so, they show certain weaknesses. They deserve pity, not you. Don't think you are a helpless victim. If you see yourselves as victim, you will be victimized. If you perceive the world as a them against us, that is exactly what we all will have, because that's what they see. It is your absolute right to stand your ground with self-confidence. That's not fighting back. That's not stooping to their low level. It is, in fact, converting, transforming mental abuse, manipulation into confidence. It is claiming your right as a human being who does not want to be in a world where sapient, feeling beings are treated in such a way. It is converting, transforming separateness into oneness. It is converting, transforming hate into love and care. Take positive action within your own set of ethics that you already have or will develop. You know probably the saying, in order to love someone truly, you have to at first love yourselves, right? It can only go in this order with most things. First, it starts with you, yourselves. Realize the power we have to create our own lives. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all accomplished for yourselves before you take action. You don't already have to be able to rest in yourselves. No. Life is a continuous process of improving. All you can ever do is to give the best you possibly can for this very moment in time. What you have to do is to stop refusing that you have power. What you have to do is to accept the responsibility of events in your lives, even if some are not in your direct control. For example, some illnesses or some accidents. But it's in your hand to make the best out of it, despite the situation. If we have confusion, irrational fear in ourselves, if you give up and think that you are solely manipulated from the outside or inside and cannot do anything against it, if you are completely fatalistic or just don't care, then this is exactly what will happen to you. And it will be the main or even only thing that you can contribute to the world. Confusion, fear, hopelessness, fatalism, carelessness. Your view on life, your actions, but also your non-actions, your passiveness, not only affect you, but so many other people around you. Most people don't realize that, how powerful they are. You are capable. You are worthy. Wake up and see. Take care. Enjoy life.